Hey, Bree. Hey, Iz. What a nice day it turned out to be, huh? Wow, what a day. In the pool. I think we're all going to be able to say that soon. I think so. Weather is getting nicer every which way you turn. Feel the night coming up to me, coming up, and in the air. I want to share it all with you, all with you. I didn't go on a bike ride yet today. I don't know if I'm going. I had soccer practice at 5. Normally we would have went on a bike ride, but it rained during our time. School was easy today, right? You had some fun, easy school day, which is nice for a Monday. Happy new season, Adonis, to you as well. Season 6, we changed the name to Reading from the Desk because my battery always dies when I read from the couch. I don't know why. It's a new computer, but the battery stinks. My desk is a mess today, guys. Lots of planning going on over here. What's going on with you guys? Wicked. What are those cards? These are gift cards. I get a ton of gift cards, and I very rarely ever use them until I go on a gift card spree. So that's what I'm about to do. A couple of things I need from Dick's Sporting Goods, Target, Dunkin' Donuts. I can add them to the app, my wife's app. Amazon I have here. So lots of good things. I've been rocking out on the guitar. Been rocking and learning. I have to say, I'm not there yet, but certainly. I've done little things, guys. I've learned what frets are. For example, fret A, a 2, fret 3. I've learned to walk with my fingers, which is not easy to do for me. But I'm learning. I'm taking this class called Musician. It's an app. And what it is it's kind of like Guitar Hero, where if I play the wrong string, it shuts me off. It's definitely better than the other day. And I'm one of those crazy workers. So I've been doing like 5 hours a day. So maybe when we get together for our summer picnic, I'll get Matty Johnson down there and some of my other instruments. When we'll play some songs, we'll play some music. I never thought I would be able to do that. So it should be cool. I will tell you, I don't know any real songs yet, but I will tell you 5 hours a day since Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Friday I might have been longer than 5 hours. I didn't even go to sleep. I just kept playing in the basement. So it just goes to show you, I still don't think I'm going to be good at it, and I've been frustrated. Oh, when I play my app, it's either there's this little ball that bounces, and you got to follow it, and you got to play the chord that it wants you to play. And if you play the wrong chord, it turns to red, and then you have until the next one to turn it to green again. So every time I see the red light go on, I get. Argh! So you guys know how I get with the frustration. So I understand sometimes when you're trying something and you don't get it, the frustration that you must feel. I'm feeling it, but I'm overcoming it and I'm learning it. And again, I'll never be, a stage performer, but at least I'll learn how to play a song. And that's my goal. Simply Guitar. I'll give it a shot, Bob. Is it an app? Julia Madonna, shame on you. 5 a.m., unacceptable. Your body needs sleep. Bobby, I'm going to give it a shot. Thank you. The one I'm playing right now, it's called Musician. It's really pretty cool. Let me see if I can show it to you. And the guy that trains it has like a British accent, so I feel like it's even a high level because of that accent. True, it's sad, but I do feel that way. Let's see if I can get this to go here. So this is what it does. That ball will bounce. See how it bounces? And I'll have to play that chord. And if it turns red, it means I didn't hit the right chord. See, means I'm not doing well at all. I'm not playing it, but how to learn to play these guitars. Pretty cool, right? Anyway, that's what I've been up to. Might as well no better time to learn an instrument than now. Yeah, it's called Musician. Is the name of that app, Bob. Musician. What did Dean say? Good job, Dean. Go to sleep. The body's meant to go to sleep. Yeah, don't do it too often. Little sleepovers will kill you. Like I always told you, I'm like Augie. I would call my mom in the middle of the night to come pick me up and then go fast to sleep in my bed. I get up real early. Even as a kid, I got up at 8 o'clock in the morning. In school, I get up at 5 o'clock when I was a kid. But like on the weekends, I'd get up at 8. But I didn't mind staying up late. I like to stay up late too. I was like both an early riser and an all nighter kind of guy, but not till 5 a.m. That's a little crazy. Any trouble with the math today? I just wanted to show you the circle thing. I wanted to just do Monday easy with the circle. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit more challenging. Not the circle part. Everything's going to be the same, except tomorrow you're going to have like a rhombus and a triangle cutting through it, and they all make the same angles, and you have to figure out what every angle is. And sometimes you're going to see that circle, and that means they want to know the back angle of it. So you're going to have to put it all together. The way I solve those questions is I do one angle at a time. That's it. I do one angle at a time, and I label. Even if they don't want to know it, I do it. Just so it's easier for me to figure it out. Adonis, I know you're always the first one on. Maddie Johnson's early, often as well with the school. Because sometimes, guys, I'm trying to plan if I'm going to assign or not. I don't like to put the assignments on the computer until 8:30. And I know Adonis is ready to go at like 7. Not good, Kira. Yeah, I agree, Julia. I have trouble too. Guys, all-nighters are not a good thing. They're nothing to brag about. You just put your body in harm's way. How you doing, Jackie boy? I don't see Aaliyah yet. Has Aaliyah been here? I love when she's here and I don't see her. I didn't want that. How about Daniel? I haven't heard from Daniel either. No Daniel. No Hira. I saw Bree. No I see Preston now. You went in the pool today? Wow. Guys, my hair's growing in. And Dylan, I didn't dye the beard. Not yet. I shaved my kid's head yesterday and actually turned out really good, thank goodness, for Mother's Day. Turned out like a good thing. My pool's not open yet either. Bell, you're in Florida, Bell. It's not the same. Not fair. Yeah, I'm already thinking about the guitar, what I'm going to do tonight. I'm hoping. I can't be up all night, though, because getting up for school, you know what you say, what's the difference between a weekend and there's a lot of difference, especially for teachers and students. I bet you guys like the weekend still, right? Waking up and not having to worry about going online. I'm sure you like your weekends. Julia is out here. Wow. Was up at 12:30 the day before Mother's Day because you was busy that day. So I did it all at night making things for my mom. That's nice, Julia. I don't know when my grandparents opening their pool soon. I think all pools are going to be open within the next 3 weeks or so. That's typical for pool people. Grandma's opening pool, Brianna, for Brianna this weekend. I think it's too cold today. Listen, if this quarantine lasts for much of the summer, I'm going to get a pool heater. Because my pool's too cold. Doesn't get that much sun. I don't mind it if I just jump in. But if we're going to have to be in the pool every day, then I'm going to need a pool heater is what I'm going to need, which is expensive. I heard I'm going to be allowed to do tennis lessons soon. They're saying that May 15th, tennis people are going to be allowed to play tennis. I don't know if you guys heard that. I heard that. Woke up early to make my mom. That's nice, Isabella. We all used to ask for longer weekends, and I think now we get a long weekend. It's called quarantine. You're right, Christian. We all said we should have longer weekends. Yeah, we're having an endless quarantine, unfortunately. Maddie Johnson, pool heat is probably the best thing in the world. What did Julia's opening the pool? Julia, is that what you said? Farioli? That's what you're doing soon? The pool a while ago, I went in. It was 51 degrees in the pool. Yeah. What? Julia Madonna, you look. We made pancake, eggs, and bacon. I'll tell you, talking to you guys like this is like having 15 different conversations. That's why doing the math extra help is tough. It's easier for me to do it alone and then post it because there's so much chatter going on. I like the chatter. I'll be honest with you. I miss it, especially on Mondays. I could do chatter all day. We should just do Chatterbox Monday. That's a good point, Matt. You got the hot tub now. You don't need a heater. You can get hot in the hot tub and jump in the pool, and you feel great. Yeah, the answer to the riddle, Dylan, these guys already jumped on it. I didn't want any answers until 3:55, and the answers were up like 10 o'clock in the morning. No surprise that not everybody can read directions, though. We know that, Dylan. We've been having issues with this class all year with directions. Correct, Christian. That was the answer. Yep. A fish. Fish. Any word on Aaliyah? Any word on Aaliyah? It's not like her. I'm actually stalling. I know she's probably on her way. And Daniel, somebody go text Daniel. One of you guys text Daniel. He always texts you guys for me. So somebody text him for me. Pick a card, any card. Pick a card, pick a card. Pick a card. Pick a card. Dave and Buster's! Woo! Say stop. Say stop. There I go. Say stop. First stop I see. First stop. Say stop. Say stop. Where will it stop? Where will it stop? Brianna, Amazon. $10. We should make a game show. Sorry, Brianna was first. Oh, too fun. Okay, only like one or two of us mixed up the math somehow this morning and got every question wrong because they didn't watch the video. But I'd say 19 out of 21 of us did the right thing. Social studies, we had a couple. Is Ryan Ellis here, by the way? I don't see Ryan. Ryan, why aren't you here? How do I have 18? I'm missing Hira, Emily, Daniel, Aaliyah. All right, we're going to get started. It's now 20 minutes in already, just about. Ryan's here. Good. Thank goodness. Yeah, parents. That's exactly what it is. All right, here we go. Let's get started. Rats of Nim. When we last left Mrs. Frisbee, she had saw the owls, and the owl told and the owl told her there's nothing he could do. Then Mrs. Frisbee said, all right, well, nothing I can do. So she's going to leave. And then the owl decides at this moment that he's going to ask her name. She then says, Mrs. Frisbee. And he's like, wait a second, you know Jonathan Frisbee? And she's like, yeah, that's my husband. Well, my ex-husband, my deceased husband. And go, well, that changes things. Now that you know Jonathan Frisbee, I can help you. And she's like, what? What do you know about my husband? Go see the rats. What does my husband know about the rats? Trust me. Go see Justin. Go see Nicodemus. Do you know where the rats live? Yeah, I know where the rats live. Everyone knows where the rats live. They live in the Rosebush. But they don't have anything to do with anybody. Go to the rats. So that's where we are. Mrs. Frisbee, this is her choices, guys. Let's see what you think. Choice A, stay in the garden with the whole family and hope the tractor doesn't dig up and kill everybody in the family. That's choice A. Choice B, take Timothy with you on a long journey in the air, sleeping in a cold, damp house once you arrive. Chances Timothy dies are high, very high. That's choice 2. Choice 3, go see the rats. They will have a solution to your problem. Move the house to the lee of the stone. That means out of the way of the wind, by the way. Choice A, everybody dies. Choice B, Timothy likely dies. Choice C, Mrs. Frisbee could die. Because who knows what the rats are capable of. But She trusted her gut and went to see an owl when an owl's main dietary habits are mice. But she was brave enough to go there. Her next option is to go see the rats. The last we saw the rats, they were bringing in an electric cord into the rosebush. Plus, many of you think people thought they killed Dragon the cat, or they like put something in his food to make him sleepy. Right? All right. Well, let's find out if the rats are capable of this. Let's see if the rats are friendly. Let's hope we meet Justin. Let's hope we meet Nicodemus. And let's hope that they're kind. Maybe making some renovations. Let's find out. And here we go. I'm going to move the chat over. Okay. Okay. And here we are in the rose. Well, remember, I have trouble moving the pages. Let's not forget. Again, guess what just happened? I went to the very back of the book. I don't have the brains you were born with, Kavanaugh. Interesting. This was somebody. I took it out as a PDF. This is somebody's library book from 2003, it says. I'm not going to be able to do this one page at a time. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, we're moving now. Okay, here we go. We got things under control. Another book that we seem to be flying through. When I was a kid, if I was on these pages, I'd be like, oh, wow, I'm really doing a good job reading. Here we do it in like 2 days. Just give me a second. Remember, I went to the back of the book, and then I tried to speed up, and now I'm only at the owl. So I'm looking to get to the rosebush. Sorry, guys, 2 seconds. My apologies. No, this is ridiculous the way this does this. What was this? What was this comment? The rats are like, yeah, I would say they're like a gang as well. Stay with me, guys. Almost there. We're on page 50. We're flying here. I can't wait till you guys see the movie. And then you're going to be like, what? Couple seconds. We're almost there. And don't go too far. Don't. Okay, good. Slow. Good. Show it. Hey, that's it. Okay. I think we're good. At all. I don't want this at all. Why are you here? Hold on, guys. Hold on 1 minute. I'm back. Okay. Sorry, guys. My son needed me for a second. Yeah, is Wonder on tonight? Did somebody tell me? All right. Anyway, here we go. Ready? Everyone regroup because we're way behind schedule. Okay, here we go. When Mrs. Frisbee got home, Teresa, Martin, and Cynthia were eating supper, as she had told them to do if it got dark before she returned. Coming silently down the tunnel, she could hear them talking in the room below, and she paused a moment to eavesdrop on their conversation. Obviously, Cynthia had been worrying, and Teresa was reassuring her. She couldn't have gotten back sooner than this, Cindy, don't you remember? The crow said it was a mile to the tree. It might have even been further. Yes, but crows fly fast. But if he went 2 miles high, that was Martin now. Oh, you got to be kidding me right now. What is going on with this book today? Hold on, guys. Be patient. You know how this is in the beginning with me and this computer. Oh, I like this better, though. Okay. Not so loud. Timothy will hear. Okay, go. Okay. Go. He doesn't want to go. All right, hold on, guys. We're not done yet. We're out of this battle yet. Okay. This is bad news, guys. I can't get this out. If you saw what I was dealing with on this end, I'm going to try to get into Cherokee tomorrow to get the actual book and just read it from there. That would be much easier. Okay, I'm back. That was Martin speaking. It would be 3 miles altogether. 6, said Teresa. 2 up, 2 down, and 1 to get there and 1 to get back. That's right. No wonder she isn't even back yet. But what about the owl? You know how owls are. It was still light when they got there. He couldn't see. But it's dark now, said Cynthia. Okay, I wish she'd come back. I'm just scared and I miss her. Not so loud, Teresa said. Timothy will hear. I'm home, called Mrs. Frisbee, hurrying the rest of the way down. And now it appeared that they had all been worried, for they all ran to her, and even Martin, who ordinarily avoided such displays, threw his arms around her. Oh, Mother, cried Cynthia near tears. I was so worried. Poor Cynthia. It's all right. How high did you fly? Asked Martin, recovering quickly. High enough so that the trees looked like bushes, the garden like a postcard, and the river like a snake. Did you see the owl? What did he say? I saw him. We'll talk about it later. I'll tell you about it. First, I want to see Timothy. How is he? Why didn't you move his bed out to here? Teresa said. I wanted to, but he said he'd rather stay in the bedroom. I think he's feeling worse again. But when Mrs. Frisbee went to see him, she found him sitting up, and his forehead felt not at all feverish. I'm all right, he said. I stayed in here because I wanted to think about a few things. Think about what? Well, I'm thinking about moving day, Ma. Moving day? But why? What about it? Had he, after all, overheard her talking to the others? Heard about the flight to the owl? But no, he went on to explain. I haven't been outdoors since I got sick, so I don't know what it's like. I mean, the weather. But today, this afternoon, I noticed something. What was that, Timmy? It was the smell in the air. It was a warm, wet smell. If you sniff, you could still kind of smell it, though it's not so strong now. Mrs. Frisbee had noticed this, of course, both indoors and out. I know that smell, Ma. It's the smell of the first melting, Timothy went on. I remember it from last year, and after that, it wasn't long until we moved. Mother, when are we going to move this year? Oh, not for a long time. Mrs. Frisbee tried to sound as casual as she could. It's still much too cold, too early to even think about that. Ma, I have to think about it, said Timothy. He sounded serious, but calm and unworried. Because if it comes too soon, I just don't think I could go. I tried walking a little bit today in here when the others were outside. Timothy, you were supposed to stay in bed and rest. You'll make yourself sick again. I know, Mom, I know. But I had to find out. I didn't walk much. You know why? Because I couldn't. I only went a few steps and I got so dizzy that I had to lie down again. Of course you did. You haven't really recovered yet. I guess I haven't. That's why I wanted to think. Timothy, you must not worry about it. That will only make you worse. Ma, I'm not worried at all. I thought I would be, but I'm not. Or maybe I think I should be, but I can't. What I really think about is how nice it is there in the summer, besides the brook. And it's true. I want to go with everybody, but I'm not scared. I was afraid you might be, or that you might think I was. That's really all I wanted to tell you. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. So you shouldn't worry about it either. Mrs. Frisbee realized he had somehow switched their positions. He had seen the danger he was in, guessed somehow that moving day was near, and that he was very likely to die. And yet, here he was, reassuring her. She wanted to tell him about the owl and the rats, tell him that something still might be done, but she decided she had better not. She did not really know if they would help. It would be better to wait until she had seen them. So instead, she said rather lamely, Timothy, don't think about it anymore. When the time comes, we'll see how you are and then decide what to do as a family. The next morning at daybreak, she went to see the rats. She had never been in a rosebush before, never really close to it. And now, the nearer she got, the more nervous she became. No one had ever told her, not as far as she knew, told any of the other animals to keep away from it. It was just something everyone knew. Stay away from the rats. The rats on Mr. Fitzgibbon's farm kept to themselves. One did not prowl in their domain. She had, before coming out of the garden, looked around carefully to be sure Dragon was nowhere in sight. But even Dragon thought he would chase a rat up to the edge of the bush, would not follow him into it. The thorns, of course, helped to discourage trespassers. Mrs. Frisbee had never realized until that moment, standing next to it, how very big the bush was, how dense, how incredibly thorny. It was bigger than the tractor shed. Its branches were so densely intertwined that, as small as she was, Mrs. Frisbee could find no easy way to crawl into it, though she walked all the way around it looking. She remembered approximately where she had seen the rats go in, and she studied that part of the bush carefully. How had they done it? How had they gotten in? Then she saw that on one of the branches, close to the ground, the thorns had been scraped off, and about a half-inch of it, just above for a handhold, was worn smooth. She put her hand on this and pushed timidly. The branch yielded easily, rather like a swinging door, and behind it she saw a trail, a sort of tunnel through the bush, wide enough so that she could walk into it without touching the thorns on either side. When she went forward, she released the branch and it swung back silently into place behind her. She was inside the bush, and it was dark. She walked forward, peering into the dimness and following the small trail, which wound in a curving course toward the center of the bush, its earthen floor packed firm by the pressure of small feet. Then straight ahead of her, she saw the entrance. She had expected what? A round hole in the dirt? Most likely, but certainly nothing like she saw. First, a sizable clearing about 5 feet across had been cut from the center of the bush. Branches overhead had been cleared away. Two, not quite to the top of the bush, but almost, so that the sunlight filtered through easily, and soft moss grew on the ground. In the middle of this bright green cave rose a small mound, 8 inches tall. In the end of it was an arched entrance, neatly lined with stone, like a small doorway, without any door. Behind the entrance, a tunnel, its floor also lined with stones beautifully, which led backward and downward. Besides the entranceway, looking at her with dark, unblinking eyes, stood the biggest rat she had ever seen. Okay, let's take a breather. Let's recap. Let's do a little recap. This is the first time I'm seeing you. I had just the page open, so I'm sorry if I ignored your comments. It just got dark again out here. Okay. So, Timothy, let's start with Timothy. Smartest of her kids, remember, very smart rat. He's able to smell that, and you guys could do it too. When the weather's starting to get nicer, the summer smells different than winter. The fall smells different than the spring. They all smell different than each other. The air is different. So Timothy's picking up that winter's ending and tractor season is about to start and moving day is upon us. And he's also smart enough to know that he's not ready for moving day. He can't go. He knows he won't have the strength. And he also wants to reassure his mother that he's not scared of dying. If it's his time to go, he's going to go. And he wants her to know that he's not scared. The mom's like, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm a parent. Settle down. Settle down, Timothy. We'll take care of it. Because no parent in creation is going to choose choice A anyway, right? If she has no choice, she's going to take him. They're not going to get run over by a tractor. We know that. I would be scared. Matt, I would be scared. But he's a different kind of mouse. Very bright, very weak, but intelligently very strong. So what it comes down to is he's ready to go. He said, I can handle it. Mom said, don't worry about it. I have a plan. She doesn't want to tell him the plan. She doesn't want to give him false hope that maybe you're going to be saved and we're all going to be fine. She doesn't want to do that. So she's going to go to the rats. And when she gets there, she sees this enormous bush with these huge thorns that'll rip your arm off. I'm sure you've all seen rose bushes like that. It's like a weapon. And she can't figure out how these rats got in. Remember, rats are like 3 times the size of mice anyway. Rats are way bigger than mice are. So she's like, how does a rat get in here without getting all sliced up? So she's looking around the bush and then she sees it. There's a branch that has no thorns on it. They've been shaven off. And then she grabs it. It's like you could tell it's meant for the hand. And she pushes it and it goes, the whole bush part opens up. It's like a door. So she's able to walk in. The door shuts down quietly so no one knows she's there. And when she gets in there, she sees a beautiful tunnel. The floorway has been lined with bricks. Cost me thousands of dollars if I wanted to do that in my driveway. They lined it beautifully, perfect tunnels. There's like an archway that's lined with bricks, and standing in that archway is the biggest looking, angriest looking rat she's ever seen. And he's unblinking. Unblinking, scary. So here we go. Leah, come on, you got to get here. We tried to wait. All we know, Leah, all that you need to know is that Timothy's okay with dying. He told the mom, I'm okay. Mrs. Frisbee found the rose bush and how to get in, and now she's standing before this rat. We're hoping it's Justin. We're hoping it's Nicodemus. Let's find out who it is. Went the wrong way. Don't worry, it wasn't a deadly maneuver on my computer. The name of the chapter is Brutus. So I'm thinking it's not Justin and it's not Nicodemus. Stop where you are, said the rat. How do you get in here? I walked in, said Mrs. Frisbee, keeping her voice calm with an effort. I found a branch with the thorns smoothed off. I pushed it back and found, I know, said the rat rather rudely. And now, why don't you walk yourself out the same way you came in? You aren't allowed in here. He moved a few inches toward her, placing himself between her and the entrance. She noticed how powerful his muscles looked under his glossy coat. He would almost be a match for Dragon. Almost, but not quite. Go on now, he repeated. But I have a reason. I don't care what you have. Go away. You're small. I wouldn't want to hurt you. Are you Justin? Mrs. Frisbee inched back as the rat inched forward. I'm Brutus. Justin's not here. That was reasonably obvious, Mrs. Frisbee thought. The rat named Brutus added, How do you know Justin? Do you know him? No, I don't know him. Not exactly. If you don't know him, how do you know his name? Brutus sounded puzzled, and Mrs. Frisbee observed that although he was greatly oversized and muscular, and his eyes were bright enough, he looked very young. His name was given to me by a friend. Can I see him? Justin? No, he's in a meeting. I'm taking his place. They're all at a meeting, except me. Bad luck, thought Mrs. Frisbee. He's a substitute, she said. But then can I wait for him? No, you can't wait for him, said Brutus. You can't stay here. I've got orders. Now go, or I'll have to take you out myself. He moved forward again. But my name, said the mouse desperately, is Mrs. Jonathan Frisbee. She's trying to see if it worked like it did with the owl. I want to see Nicodemus. But it did not work. I don't care what your name is. And you can't see Nicodemus, that's for sure. Brutus now looked both puzzled and annoyed. Move on and be quick about it. All right, said Mrs. Frisbee. You needn't force me. I'll go. She turned slowly and walked back the way she had come. She felt like crying after coming all this way, after flying to see the owl, to be turned back so abruptly. She thought as she walked into the darkest part of the bush, maybe she could just wait for an hour or so until the meeting, whatever the meeting could be, was over, and then go back. And perhaps the rat named Justin would be at the entrance then. But would Justin pay any more attention to her than Brutus had done? She had a feeling that he would. But when she stopped, she heard footsteps behind her. She looked back and saw that Brutus was following her. She started again, hurrying to keep out of his sight. After a while, she paused again and listened. This time there was no sound. He must have gone back on his post. She sat down on the ground. Then ahead of her, in the direction of the place where she had entered the bush, she heard a rustling, a faint scraping noise. It was the branch she had pushed to get in. Someone else was moving it. Someone else was coming in, walking along the narrow path toward her. It must be another rat. Suddenly she was terrified. What would be done? Meeting her unexpectedly in this dimness, she shrank to one side as close as she could to get out of the wall of thorns, hoping that whoever it might be would go on past without seeing her. Then he came around the corner and she saw him. It wasn't a rat at all, but it was her old friend, Mr. Ages, the white mouse. He was moving extremely slowly, and she realized that he was limping badly. One of his legs was injured. It was wrapped up in a splint and bandaged. Mr. Ages, Mr. Ages, Mr. Ages, she called softly. It's Mrs. Frisbee. Who? He peered into the shadows. I can't see you. Mrs. Frisbee. She moved into the middle of the path in front of him. Why, so it is, Mrs. Frisbee. How do you do? He sounded cordial enough, but was startled. I didn't know that you... How do you happen to be in here? It's a long story. Then tell it to me while I rest. I am supposed to be at a meeting, but I'm late already, and a few more minutes won't matter. As you can see, I had a bad fall and broke my ankle. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that it doesn't hurt. It's mending, but I can walk, but only slowly and need to rest frequently. He sat down with a sigh. Now, tell me why you're doing what you're doing in the rat's bush. Mrs. Frisbee, who was wondering the same thing about him, told him as briefly as she could about Timothy, about Jeremy, the owl, and now Brutus. Mr. Aegis listened in silence, interrupting only once. You went into the owl's tree? Yes, but I was very afraid. I should think so. That took great courage. I had to do it. When she had finished the story, Mr. Aegis sat quietly for a minute, considering it. Poor Timothy, he said at last. I should have thought of this myself. But of course, when I gave you the medicine, the weather had not yet turned warm. Then I fell and broke my leg, and I forgot all about it. He stood up. I think, he said, that you should come back with me, back to the entrance. But I can't. That rat Brutus will still be there. Mrs. Frisbee, having done all that you have done, you are going to give up now? I will talk to Brutus. You know him? I have known him since he was born. He's not very old, you know. I think he will do what I ask. From the way he said this, Mrs. Frisbee could tell. He did not merely think it. He knew. But how? All right, she said doubtfully. I'll try again, but I don't understand. How do you know Brutus? We had better move along now. They stared back toward the entrance at Mr. Aegis' slow, limping pace. As to how I know Brutus, that is a much longer story than yours, and I doubt that I am the one to tell it to you. It is for Nicodemus to say. But I will tell you this. If we go into the entrance, as we will, if you are to ask for help, you must promise that you will never, ever tell anyone about anything that you see or hear. I will promise, said Mrs. Frisbee. Again, she thought she had no choice. The owl told me the same thing. When they approached the entrance again, Mrs. Frisbee saw that Brutus stood at his post as before, but that another rat had joined him. Two of them, she thought. I hope Mr. Aegis knows them both. The new rat saw them coming. He looked alert, dark gray in color, and extraordinarily handsome, though not as big as Brutus. Mr. Aegis, he said, how's the leg? Better, but will be a while before I can run again. Justin, said Brutus, staring at Mrs. Frisbee. There she is. There's the one I was telling you about. Is she now? Justin looked on at her casually. He did not sound particularly alarmed. Mrs. Frisbee, said Mr. Aegis formally, may I present my friends, Justin and Brutus. How do you do? Brutus shouted doubtfully. Mrs. Frisbee, said Justin. Not Mrs. Jonathan Frisbee. She is Mrs. Jonathan Frisbee, said Mr. Aegis. A widow, as we all know. Madame, said Justin, bowing politely, it is an honor to meet you. Brutus now looks astonished. You both know her? Who is she? Brutus, said Mr. Aegis gently. Don't you remember Mr. Jonathan? Brutus wrinkled his brow. Mr. Jonathan? You mean the one with dragon? Yes, said Justin quickly. And this is now Mrs. Jonathan. Oh, said Brutus. Then to Mrs. Frisbee, why didn't you tell me? I wouldn't have chased you off. Well, said Mrs. Frisbee, I did try to tell you, but it doesn't matter now. No, Mr. Aegis added, because on the way out, we met coming in. She needs to talk to Nicodemus, and quickly. Brutus looked doubtful again. Nicodemus? But can she? I mean, how about the rules? What about the plan? Mr. Aegis says, that has to be taken care of. She has promised secrecy, and she is to be trusted completely. That I myself guarantee. After all, consider who she is, and as an afterthought, he added, and who her children are. Who am I then? Mrs. Frisbee asked herself in wonder. I suppose that too will have to come from Nicodemus. Mr. Aegis said to Justin, what about the meeting? It can't be over already. It was temporarily adjourned, said Justin, to wait for you. In fact, I came to find you. Then I suppose we had better go. Justin led the way through the arch entrance, which Mrs. Frisbee and Mr. Aegis followed. Brutus remained outside at his post. Woo! Lots going on. So, recap of the chapter. She meets Brutus, jacked up rat. Young though. Everybody's in a meeting. He's not, because he's young and they don't need his input right now. They call over. Miss Frisbee tries to go. He says, get out of here. I don't care who you know. Take a walk. She thinks she's going to wait in the tunnel about an hour, but on her way back out to hide, she sees Mr. Aegis coming in. And Mr. Aegis knows all these rats very well, apparently. And it turns out they all know Jonathan. So Jonathan, who's a mouse, Mr. Aegis is a mouse, is very close with the rats. So close, in fact, that Mr. Aegis was going to the meeting that they were having. And we learned something about how Jonathan died, didn't we? Did you guys catch that? How did Jonathan die? What did Brutus say? We're looking for that answer. How do you think? Yes. Because Brutus says, Mr. Jonathan, you mean the one with dragon? So we now use our reading skills, and that is something called inferring. They didn't say that dragon killed Jonathan, but we know Jonathan's dead. We know dragon kills animals, and we know that when Brutus says the one with dragon, we could assume that the cat got him. So we are 52 minutes in already, unfortunately. We had a lot of chit-chat session today. We did finish 2 very good chapters, but tomorrow, Mrs. Frisbee will meet the all-knowing Nicodemus. And Nicodemus has some answers for us. Nicodemus is going to tell us what's going on. He's going to tell us about what the meeting's about. He's going to tell us if they can save Timothy. And more importantly, he's going to tell you how on earth this Mr. Aegis, Jonathan, and all these rats are buddies with each other. Tomorrow we find out. And it's pretty darn cool. I want you to think in the meantime, what does NIM mean? N-I-M-H. Don't write it out, but I want you thinking about the rats of NIM. N-I-M-H. N-I-M-H. I'm going to put it out there for you. What does that mean? Tomorrow we'll find out. I want you thinking about that, though. It's something that goes on today.